I believe the great orator Cole Johnson, aka Goal Sports, said it best. I was minding my business, just taking care of things, and then all of a sudden, BAM! But that's all right. Went back to business. Went back to taking care of things. And then BAM! Sorry, I couldn't resist. Let's go. On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have left California.
This bronsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised that the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling fantastic. And I hope y'all are too. Good morning. Welcome, one and all, to the fabulous, fantastic football Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. We are presented by BetUS.com as well as Invader Coffee. And speaking of coffee, I'm going to have to get some a little later. Sam Shady at the bottom of this hour, Ben Sutterth at the top of the next hour. And during the next hour, we will also make our game day picks. And the game day picks are presented by BetUS.com. Now, I'm ready. Are y'all ready? Let's get this party started. This is the Whip Around. And the Whip Around this morning is presented by Fanatics, officially licensed everything. Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers says that Wednesday's surgery to repair his Achilles tendon went great. He shared the health update on his Instagram account Thursday, just days after suffering a season-ending Achilles injury in the Jets' preseason season opening win, I beg your pardon, over the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. His update was accompanied by a photo of himself smiling in a hospital bed while dressed in a hospital gown. Thanks to the Dr. Neil Atrasha and his staff for starting me on the road to recovery. Now, does that road actually mean he'll be back? I mean, he is 39. Well, I hope and pray that he does have a full recovery. And that's from the heart. Boston Red Sox have fired Chief Baseball Officer Chaim Bloom. The team said principal owner John Henry, chairman Tom Werner, and president and CEO Sam Kennedy notified Bloom of the decision to let him go. He was hired by the team in October 2019, 1 year after Boston won the World Series, succeeding Dave Dombrowski after success running the Tampa Bay Rays. Bloom's tenure infamously began with the team unable to re-sign Mookie Betts to a long-term contract, and he was traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers in February 2020. Well, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Santo Rollins, a football player for the Ole Miss Rebels, has filed a lawsuit against Rebels coach Lane Kiffin and the university in a district court on Thursday. In the filing, Rollins, a black male, said Kiffin kicked him off the team in March and levies the following allegations: racial discrimination on the part of Kiffin and Ole Miss, discrimination on the basis of disability or perceived disability on the part of Kiffin and Ole Miss, sexual discrimination, intentional affliction of emotional distress on the part of Kiffin, negligence and gross negligence on the part of Kiffin and Ole Miss. Holy cow. In a statement received Thursday night, Ole Miss said it never received a lawsuit and that Rollins was never removed from the team. He remains on the Rebels online roster. Okay, to both sides, before I levy judgment, prove your cases. Although initial knee-jerk reaction says, I agree with the player. This is a big-time school. They compete in the most competitive conference, the Southeastern Conference, and stupid things happen in the SEC. Stupid things happen in Division I college football. Northwestern, hello. I'm inclined to lean toward the student, but I want to let the whole process play out before I really, really weigh in and go in. Buffalo Bills receiver Stephon Diggs said the words reporter Maddie Glab said on a hot mic were very hurtful to hear. The Bills reporter issued an apology to Diggs on Wednesday, and Diggs responded to the comments on social media on Thursday. Diggs said, quote, the audio shared was very hurtful and was insulting to my character and how I was raised. I've always treated people how I wanted to be treated. I greet everyone with smiles and respect, from the people in our cafe to the people that keep our building in clean and in order. Close quote. He also said, I don't know why it was said, but this is an example why people don't want to deal with the media. It's hard to fight the preconceived notions that people have about you, regardless of ever having a personal experience with them. Close quote. He's right. He's right. I've seen it happen. I lived in Chicago most of my life. I've seen Chicago media operate. I was a part of Chicago media. He's right. He's absolutely right. Now, we don't know all of the details that happen. I can just go off of my experiences. But can you blame Stephon for going through this? And a part of this was the feud between he and Josh Allen in the preseason before all this started, and now it's blown up and out of control. Man, oh man, will it ever get better? I hope so. And Deion Sanders fires back at Colorado State coach Jay Norvell and says, I'm a grown man. He says on his weekly coaches show Thursday in Boulder, I'm a grown man. Don't tell me what I'm supposed to wear and what I don't supposed to wear, please. Well, Jay Norville, you have one job. But I think Colorado's going to do it for you. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And that's the Whip Around presented by Fanatics. I thought your job was to get your team ready for the game. on Saturday night in Boulder, Colorado. Am I missing? Am I missing the part where you have to judge somebody by what they wear? Just because you don't doesn't mean you judge others. Judge others lest ye be judged. Oops. I hope Colorado kicks the ever-loving blank out of the Rams on Saturday night in Boulder, just to prove a point that it's all about the team and not you. Nene, nene. And I'll be the first singing the praises of the Colorado Buffaloes once the Rams take that. To the top of my lungs. I cannot wait to say, Jay Norville, you fool! God, I can't wait for any of that. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Back after this.
Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts.
I fired the first shot because I was tired of him sending these memes about the Cowboys. So I fired the first few shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to be able to win this weekend to fire some more shots. And yeah. I am petty. I am upset. We are 0-10 the last 10 games. Something has to change. Something has to change. So, Giants, please listen to me. I'm begging you. Win. I need to end this. I need to be able to respond to Cowboy fans and not with my head bowed down. So, let's go, Giants. I'm starting a new thing. Dallas. Oh, Lord. Oh. Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. Papi J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wize El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Papi J and Wize El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Forgot to push button. SNWMN Multimedia on Twitter, or X as it's called now. Snowman Multimedia on all of our other socials. And do y'all hear a familiar song?
To victory. E-A-T-L-E-S, Eagles!
34-28. It was the final score last night on Thursday Night Football. But I'm happy the Eagles won. Okay, don't get it twisted, because there's something about Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins that never ever will sit right with me, and how that offense is run. But there are some flaws with the Philadelphia Eagles. One flaw, or one thing about the game that I loved, is the fact that the running back they acquired on draft night, DeAndre Swift, got a workout to the tune of 28 carries and 175 yards. Now, Sam is going to join me a little later to help break down this game. But I hate to say, well, I've said, and I've said all summer, and I will continue to say, unless I'm proven different, the two best teams in the National Football Conference, the NFC, are the Eagles and the 49ers. The Eagles are 2-0. The Niners look to go 2-0 this weekend when they play the Los Angeles Rams. But Cool McCain and Coach Dante yesterday said something that is turning out to be very, very true. And that is, the play calling needs to change, and fast. It has to change fast. Because there were times last night where the Eagles looked totally unstoppable. They looked totally unstoppable. And then they took their foot off the gas. But the one time they did not take their foot off the gas, as you look at highlights courtesy of Amazon Prime, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings and the NFL, the defense for the Eagles did their job. The team defense and special teams for the Eagles forced 4 turnovers. 4. Okay? And like I said, as you look at the highlights here, look at DeAndre Swift and how many times they relied on him. This is the bell cow running back that, to me, the Philadelphia Eagles desperately needed for the longest time. Each team turned the ball over in the first quarter. But it just seemed like for the longest time this game was severely in doubt, even after the Eagles took a 27-7 lead in the third quarter. Doesn't it seem like to y'all, that even when the Eagles took that 27-7 lead, that the game was in jeopardy for the Eagles? And then Jalen Hurts ran the ball 12 times last night. When you had DeAndre Swift going. You had DeAndre Swift going. He gave you 175 yards. You could have. DeAndre Swift is an every down back out of Georgia, no less. Now, everyone was making comparisons, saying the Georgia Eagles, with all the players they drafted from the University of Georgia this past spring. DeAndre Swift is from Georgia, too. DeAndre Swift is from Georgia. And DeAndre Swift is the reason, as you look at the touchdown from TJ Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift is the reason that Philadelphia won last night. Let me say this again. DeAndre Swift and his 175 yards are the reason they won last night. I mean, there was a point where the Eagles outgained the Vikings 144-31, but trailed 7-3 deep into the second quarter. See, this is the part of the offense that the Eagles missed and needed, and that was a powerful running game. That was a powerful running game outside of Jalen Hurts. Now you have that with DeAndre Swift. Now you have that with DeAndre Swift. Now you have a back that you can lean on if you're Philadelphia. The defense is going to do its job, though the question I have for the defense is how you allow Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins, thank you, Ben Sutter, to throw for 366 yards, 364 yards. I beg your pardon. If the numbers serve, if I remember the numbers correctly, 364 yards. And you allowed them to stay close. You allowed them to stay close. And then there's this turnover by Justin Jefferson late in the second quarter where he clearly fumbled across the goal line. That's a touchback. And it comes out to the 20-yard line. Latina and Callie, how are you, my dear? And we are in this channel this morning. Kirk Cousins had a really good stat line, 31-44, 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. You can have great stats and still lose. You got that right. The game was definitely in doubt. That even when in the third quarter, and I'll say it again, even in the third quarter, when it seemed that Philadelphia was going to run away and put the game away at 27-7. There's the first touchdown, courtesy of the turnover. And then the second one in the third quarter, courtesy of a long pass from Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith. And when that pass happened last night, I got a text message from Jay Spivey that asked the question, why didn't the Carolina Panthers draft Devontae Smith? And my answer is simple. I don't know. I really don't know. Several communications on defense allowing open receivers. You're right, Sam. Here's one of them right here. To Jordan Addison. Here's one of them right here to Jordan Addison. That made it 27-14. And the numbers kept racking up and racking up and racking up. And look at the protection. Look at the protection that Kirk Cousins got. He was able to step 3 full steps into the pocket and deliver that pass. 3 full steps. But it just seemed like the game, even though the Eagles were up by 13 at the end of the third quarter, that the game was always in doubt. There was always a chance for the Vikings. And remember, this is the same Vikings team, negative point differential and all last year, that erased a 33-point deficit against the Indianapolis Colts. 33 points they were down against the Colts at US Bank Stadium. They came back, they won that game, and they won the NFC Central. Now, I know it's the NFC North, but I still call it the NFC Central. I mean, look at the passes that Cousins was able to deliver under duress. The Eagles just couldn't get home in the second half, except for the one time they got home and caused a fumble. I mean, they allowed Cousins to throw all day. Yet again, Kirk Cousins, you're right, playmaker, can't win in primetime. True. Very true. But if there are a couple of flaws on the Eagles I can take from this game, and Sam and I will talk about it here in a couple of minutes. Did it seem like to you that the Eagles defense just couldn't get home? Did it seem like to you guys that the Eagles defense just couldn't get home as we look at DeAndre Swift with another long run to set up what would turn out to be the clinching touchdown? Because after this touchdown right here by DeAndre Swift, it put him up 34-21 with a little over 4 minutes remaining. But again, the miscommunication leading to open receivers, as Sam just said a few moments ago. So if there's something I can take from this game, and this is a 2-minute offense where the Vikings needed the ball twice, is the highlights you're looking at, as I mentioned, courtesy of Amazon Prime, the Eagles, the Vikings, and the NFL. Did it not seem, even when they got this close with 95 seconds left, that there could be a way that could come all the way back and snatch this win? As you look at Hawkinson's touchdown, which turned out to be the final score of the game. It just seems like the game was in doubt until this onside kick was recovered. Once the onside kick was recovered, the Eagles basically ran the clock out except for 7 seconds. And the Eagles only rushed one. And Cousins tried to throw it as long as he could, came up short, no flag, game over. 34-28 Eagles win. And as we go to the Fanatics feedback zone, look at the comments from some of the fans. Kirk Cousins had a really good stat line last night, 31-44, 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. Just goes to show that you can have great stats and still lose. Take note, you Seals. Absolutely. And you know who that's directed toward? You know doggone well who that's directed toward. Sam said, yes, it was definitely in doubt. I was hoping that Swift would be the bell cow running back for the Lions, but he's doing well in Philly. Well, the Lions misused him. Again, good morning to Victor Locke, to Sam Just, to the Playmaker, to Latina and Cali out of Fresno, California. You know, Sam just said several communications on defense allowing open receivers. Yeah, very much so. As Playmaker just said, yet again, Kirk Cousins can't win in primetime. Victor agrees. And then Playmaker backs up with it's preseason, but the games count. Relax for now. And look at this, stepping into the pocket. Yet another mechanic that quarterbacks don't practice or at least don't use. They're too busy looking for running lanes, which is not their job. Correct. Right you are, Victor. Right you are. And it's going to come to the point where quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen are going to suffer crippling injuries that they will not be able to recover from. Again, I give you the best example that I can think of, and that's Steve Young, a running quarterback who learned to be a pocket passer. Another quarterback who's going to suffer a major injury and not recover from it well because he runs all the time. Justin Fields. Justin Fields. And we'll talk about Justin Fields and the Bears a little bit later. But that's my take on what happened last night in Philadelphia. The Eagles win 34-28, but the game was not in doubt. The game was in doubt, I beg your pardon, until the final 7 seconds. The game was definitely in doubt until the final 7 seconds when Kirk Cousins had to toss up a Hail Mary. Now, I introduced something yesterday and I'm going to reintroduce today. And it's the lock of the week for me, presented by betus.com. What is you guys' lock of the week? Put it in the chat and we'll light up the chat later on today. For me, my lock of the week is in Los Angeles, as the 49ers are going to go into SoFi Stadium and beat the ever-loving blank out of the Los Angeles Rams for the 9th consecutive time in the regular season. The Rams will start out hot, as they have a tendency to do against the 49ers. Look at the 2 games last year. But then the 49ers will catch fire and run away. And remember, it was last year in this game where Christian McCaffrey showed the entire package, and he still had more to show. That's my lock of the week. What are you guys' locks of the week? What are you guys' locks of the week? Lock of the week is presented by betus.com. And one final stat, our stat of the day, presented by Invader Coffee, 31 touches, 183 yards. It's about time Philly got Swift involved. Yes. 31 touches, 181 yards. 175 of those came on the ground. That is that is the kind of running back that you need. Period. That's the kind of running back that you need. Let's take a break. And when y'all get back, you'll hear the voices of Sam Shady and Ben Sutter. The Third. We continue this Football Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Back in a flash.
I am McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps,
as they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pistol 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby!
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. Papi J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wize El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Papi J and Wize El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back indeed to the fabulous Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. There was a football game last night, and here's a friend of mine to help break it down. Sam Shady now joins us on the Invader Coffee guest line. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Brian. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
You know, it's hard to have a bad day after a Philadelphia Eagles win, although there is a lot I didn't like about that game. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, let's let's go ahead and break all this down. 34-28 was the final, as you heard how we started the show this morning. I don't like how the Eagles look, even though they're 2-0. These were two games, the Patriots and now the Vikings, that they should not have struggled. They should not have struggled in either of these games.
I 100% agree. I thought we were going to walk all over the Patriots in week one. Like I mentioned, last week before the game, they had 3 starting offensive linemen out, and we have one of the most talented defensive lines in the league. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. And that's not even considering Hassan Reddick, who is a linebacker technically. But we didn't get a whole lot of pressure against them. They had a game plan that got the ball out of Mac Jones' hands extremely fast the whole game, kept him upright. And then in this game last night, realistically, I think it was more offensive play calling that kept the Vikings in the game for a long while. It just seemed like Brian Johnson wanted to run the quarterback so much on third down, and it just didn't make sense situationally. If it's third and short, sure, go ahead, run a sneak with Hurts. But if it's third and long and you're running a design quarterback run, like, what are you doing?
You got DeAndre Swift for a reason. And I really, really want to touch on this. DeAndre Swift last night gave you 175 yards on 28 carries. He was averaging 6.25 yards per carry. Why didn't they keep feeding him the ball?
I don't know. It seems like they wanted to get Penny involved late in the game, which obviously that kind of makes sense from a play calling perspective. He's your bigger back. He's kind of your clock killer type running back, but he just wasn't efficient. And I will credit Brian Johnson and the staff because they went back to Swift later
Mhm.
on in the game when they realized Penny was just not effective. And, I credit goes to Nick Sirianni for hearing the noise a little bit and realizing, hey, we signed this guy for a reason. He's here to dominate. Let's let him eat this week. And, man, what a performance by DeAndre Swift. I want to throw out there was a play early on. It was in the first half that I saw it and I was amazed, but it wasn't one of those plays that shows up on the stat sheet. He stayed in block on what ended up being a quarterback run where Hurts had to scramble out of the pocket to the right-hand side and evade pressure, but they had 2 extra rushers coming up to set the gut, and Jason
Mhm.
Kelsey basically missed them both, essentially at first, and DeAndre Swift chipped one just enough so Kelsey could get him, and then turned around and blocked the other, and that is the only reason Jalen Hurts was able to escape that pocket on that play, and it's stuff like that, to me, that make a good back great. And I was excited about the potential of Swift in this offense. We didn't get to see it in week 1, and man, did it look good in week 2. I'm so excited about what he can do the rest of the year.
I'm certainly excited about what he can do the rest of the year. Looking at the Vikings stats, they allowed 374 yards of offense. The Eagles defense did. Of course, Kirk Cousins threw for 364 and 4 touchdowns. And were it not for those 14 third quarter points, which essentially put the Eagles in front to stay, even though they led at halftime, the game was in peril for most of it. But that third quarter essentially put the game out of reach, even though the Vikings kept coming back.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. I mean, throughout this game, we made key mistakes and gave up the ball or punted it away at moments where we could have taken control very early on. But again, that was part of the new play calling from Brian Johnson. There was some situations where he just really seemed like he was out of his element. I think a lot of that will go away with time. And this was literally his second game calling an NFL offense. So let's pump the brakes a little bit. I know Fire Brian Johnson was trending on Twitter at one point last night. Come on, Eagles fans, chill out. Like we're 2-0, so it's not that bad. But he could definitely improve in that matter. But ultimately, when the time came, like you said, in the third quarter, when we really needed to take control of that game, that's when we did. And unfortunately, we let the Vikings stay in it in the fourth quarter, like you said. But that's, I think, a thing that will, again, come with time, because I think Brian Johnson was trying to take steps to put him away in terms of going a run-heavy offense. At one point, we ran 12 of 14 plays on a drive were run plays. But I think just Penny's ineffectiveness, I think that's something they really need to get figured out for situations exactly like that. When you want to close out a game, you want to just kill the clock, you want to beat the defense up and just really, kind of beat them into submission, for lack of a better term.
259 yards of rushing offense last night for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I know Eagle fans, yourself included, have got to be salivating over that number. And the best part about it, I'll say it again, 175 of those came from DeAndre Swift and not Jalen Hurts.
Yes, exactly. That's you took the words right out of my mouth. I was happy to see that Hurts was more running when, there outside of the design quarterback runs in the first half, it seemed like he was more running when he had to, not all the time, like it was last year. We have all this depth in the backfield. Let's use it. Let's keep Hurts healthy. Let's get him through a full season, because I think if we get him through a full season, we have an MVP candidate under center.
Absolutely.
But yeah, DeAndre Swift actually rushed for the most yards in a game by any Eagles running back since LaShawn McCoy was here, and that was, many years ago. So I'm super excited about what Swift brings to this offense, and I hope they continue to keep him involved and we don't go back to what happened in week 1.
Yeah, you don't want to go backwards with what happened in week 1. And again, going back to that was a struggle that should not have happened in New England. And I'll pose this question like I posed a question to the panel yesterday. Did it seem like after Darius Slay's pick six that the Eagles took their foot off the gas a little bit?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And I think, again, that was kind of by design. I think they were trying to get back into that ball control offense. But there needs to be a balance, and you need to know the right time. And I think that's something that Brian Johnson's going to kind of figure out over time. And I know it wasn't all play calling. Some of it was just the effort from the players on the field. But we definitely need to get that figured out. If we can't close out games, we got lucky against the Patriots and we got lucky against the Vikings, who are two very formidable opponents, but they're not the toughest teams we're going to face all year. So if we can't get it figured out quick, we're going to find a loss pretty early on in the season.
Eagles are 2-0, Vikings are 0-2. Now you have 10 days off after the win last night. What do you do with Rashad Penny? Since the first two games, he was completely ineffective.
Well, I mean, first of all, you got to figure out exactly what you want to do with him. Because is he the guy that you only want to involve in the fourth quarter when the defense is already gassed from chasing around DeAndre Swift all game? Or is he the guy that you want to get involved early on and get him, warmed up and moving throughout the game as he did in Seattle, rather than just keeping him cold on the bench all game long till the fourth quarter? Because I think that's part of the issue right now is he came in with basically no touches in the fourth quarter and third quarter, late third, and started getting touches. And it just seemed like he wasn't prepared or wasn't ready. And he was a healthy scratch in week one. So it's just really a big question as to what they're doing with this backfield after everything that happened last week and then everything that happened this week. I almost think they're still trying to figure out how they're going to work it all season long.
Yeah, you have to figure it out with such a dynamic offense that the Eagles have, and you want to have that two-back setup where you can put teams away. 2 shots at it so far. They hung on against the Patriots and they hung on against the Vikings, and it's like you said, they have to figure this out quick. They got a full 10 days now to rest before they go to Tampa and take on the Buccaneers. What other things did you see last night in that game? We spoke of the offensive play calling. What other things did you see last night that could worry you down the line?
Well, to be completely honest, I expected us to get more pressure than we did. We got in the pocket, but Kirk Cousins still found ways to get rid of the ball, and that's the thing. We need to be able to finish those plays. We need to get the quarterback on the ground, get those sack numbers back up to where they were last year, because honestly, I was expecting just as good, if not a better year with all the talent that we brought in. I know we lost Javon Hargrave. He's a great lineman, but bringing in Jalen Carter has been impressive to say the least so far. And I know that it's very early in his career, but I think he's going to be dominant, as do most other people. But Jordan Davis got involved too. I'm not quite sure what we need to do there, but we need to be able to hit home more often. And I think it'll come with time. Once again, new coordinator on defense as well. He's kind of figuring out his situation, but it's just kind of odd to see the Eagles in this situation. We've had the same coordinators for a couple of years. It's just odd to see us kind of figuring things out early on in the season after a Super Bowl run last year.
Sam Shady joining us here on the Invader Coffee guest line. Let's take a look at your next opponent, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll do that preview in just a moment, but the Bucs and the Bears play Sunday 1 p.m. and I don't know about you, man, but all this hype, and I know you've heard it, as have I. All this hype surrounding Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears is unwarranted because they have holes in the running game. We know they have holes in the passing game. And after what happened against Green Bay last Sunday, that defense is very suspect right now.
100%. I don't think, myself included, I expected the Bears to get a week 1 win, and instead they came out and opened a bunch of question marks for me because, quite honestly, I thought this defense was going to be better. I understand they traded away one of their best linebackers, but at the same time, like I just didn't think there would be that dramatic of a drop off. And here we are. You know, they allowed a good amount of points to the Green Bay Packers, who are also figuring it out on offense, and they made Jordan Love look like a potential future Hall of Famer if he continues this. So it's just kind of crazy to see how far things flipped there. Because, again, like you said, Chicago's had a lot of hype. Everybody thought Justin Fields was going to be an MVP candidate. Maybe he can turn it around real quick, but week one didn't look too promising.
No, it did not look too promising at all. And I don't see it. I just don't see it with Justin Fields. And I get a lot of heat from Bears fans saying, oh, you just don't like your hometown team. No, I actually watched the game, and I'll say it again. And we talked about this all summer. Who's going to carry the ball for the Chicago Bears?
100%. You know, they drafted a guy who I think can be a good running back, but I don't know that he's the most efficient runner in the world. You still have Khalil Herbert there, and that's another situation. You got to figure out the right mix. But running Justin Fields, you know, 10, 15 times a game, that's not a formula for long-term success either. You're going to get that kid hurt, and then you're going to end up being, you know, playing. I'm blanking his name at the moment, but I think it's Tyson Badgett, or something like that, and that's not going to help Chicago's situation at all.
No, it's not. Now, a quick preview: 10 days from now, the Eagles play the Buccaneers Monday Night Football in Tampa. You know, Tampa's feeling themselves right now. We talked them winning last Sunday in Minnesota against Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. So you know they're batting their chest out right now. But then they're going to have a freshly rested Eagles team coming off of a win with 10 days off. This should be more than enough time for the Eagles to correct some of their problems, especially defensively, in getting pressure on Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. And that Buccaneers offensive line has a lot of holes in it, just as the Bears do.
100%. I expect this to be one of our more convincing wins. But again, if we're looking at it on paper, Tampa Bay does not look like one of our tougher opponents. So, you know, we kind of getting a cupcake matchup after a long week off, and hopefully the Eagles come out and beat Tampa Bay like I expect them to. But this could be another game where you open up a lot more questions than you answer them, because if the Eagles come out flat in the first half again, and they're able to allow Tampa Bay to hang around like we did Minnesota last night and Patriots the week before, you know, there's going to be a lot more question marks for me in particular, because on paper, again, this should be a pretty handed win. You know, at least 10 points in my mind.
Yeah, there's another game I'm going to look at that we're going to look at really quick, that a lot of people are hyping up because of the matchups that happened last week, and I definitely want to get your take on this. And of course, the one I'm looking at, the 49ers and the Rams at SoFi Stadium. That's a 4:05 kickoff on Sunday. Why is there a lot of hype surrounding the Rams for going 1-0 in Seattle, knowing who they're going to face this Sunday?
You know, I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, granted they won, that's great, but you know, we all saw the videos of Geno Smith almost literally, you know, messing himself when Aaron Donald came untouched from the line. So it just, obviously we just got the blueprint on how to beat Seattle, and we'll see if the Rams can continue that this week against the 49ers. But I got to be completely honest, I don't know when the 49ers see their first loss. They could very well be the last undefeated team in the NFL, and I'm sure you're happy to hear that, but they're so talented, and honestly, that week one win was more convincing than I expected it to be.
Yeah, it was more convincing than I expected. I expected Pittsburgh to at least give them a fight. and I expected Brock Purdy in his week 1 regular season debut, because remember, he didn't make his first start until late in the year last year, week 14 against Tampa Bay. But wow, you want to talk about smooth in the pocket? This kid has proven a lot of people wrong, myself included.
100%. And you look back, and the kid had surgery like 6 months ago. It hasn't even been that long, and that's elbow surgery on your throwing arm. Like,
yes,
for him to come out and look as good as he did, and I don't want to jinx him, but hopefully he doesn't have any fatigue later in the season due to the quick recovery time. But
right.
I'm not concerned after seeing him in week 1. In fact, I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing. I thought he was a little bit more of a game manager than I gave him credit for, and it seems like he's growing very quickly, and he might be the face of the franchise for the 49ers for many years to come.
You know the scary part about this 49er offense? They're not even in midseason form yet. And I was talking with a friend of mine, another fellow NFL analyst. He told me, and I'm really starting to believe this since Brock Purdy became the starting quarterback for the 49ers. Take a look at what happens in week 8 and compare this to week 1 on all 3 phases of the ball for San Francisco. You're going to see the same thing.
I would agree, or an improvement on all sides of the ball, because quite honestly, this team is so talented, and they're in the same situation the Eagles find themselves in. They got a new defensive coordinator they're breaking in. I honestly think this defense is only going to get better as time goes on. They honestly lost their offensive coordinator, the year before last? So,
right.
Again, 2 fresh coordinators, and they're still looking like they did in week 1. It's unbelievable, quite honestly. But that's just a credit to Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and that organization and how it's been built. I mean, it's always been a draft and develop and sign key free agents. And to me, that's the path to long-term sustained success. That's why you see the Patriots constantly competitive. They draft and develop, sign key free agents. You don't go out and win the Super Bowl in the offseason. I know the Rams did it a couple years ago, but that's not the path to success, quite honestly.
It is. It is not. And looking at this 49ers team, if they're this dominant in week 1, and next Thursday night we see the New York Giants, week 5 we see the Dallas Cowboys, and then we see you guys in South Philadelphia in week 13. That may be, and I know I'm looking far, far ahead, and these are not rose-colored glasses that y'all are seeing on me right now. I'm looking far ahead, and I'm looking at this team since last year when they won 10 in a row to close the season. They have gotten better and even more dangerous than when Brock Purdy was inserted into the lineup last year against Tampa Bay.
I would agree. I mean, even on a talent basis, I mean, again, you look at the fact they brought in Javon Hargrave. That was an unbelievable addition. He was a key reason the Eagles found themselves in the Super Bowl last season, because he could provide so much pressure from the interior defensive line. I know he's playing defensive end out there in San Francisco because of the 3-4 alignment, but that was such a good addition that went under the radar for a lot of people, because they didn't know really who he was. He's not a guy that's ever going to lead the league in sacks or anything like that, but what he does for a team is so important for the other players around him. It wouldn't surprise me to see Bosa have a better season because of the fact that he's got Hargrave across from him and Armstead there as well.
That defensive line is going to be something dangerous. Sam Shady joining us as he does every single football Friday, looking at his Eagles as they beat the Vikings 34-28. Looking at a couple of other games. We got our picks coming up a little later. Sam, I love you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on as you do every Friday.
No problem. Super happy to join you again. I know I was gone for a little while, but this is honestly the highlight of my Friday every week, so thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Real quick before I get out of here, if you're an indoor football fan, go take a look at the coaching staff the San Antonio Gunslingers just hired, because, wow, is it unbelievable. I'll
I
just
can't
leave
wait.
you with that. It's impressive.
Oh man, I cannot wait. Thank you, Sam. Love you, brother. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Have a good weekend.
Hey, new podcast coming out called Diary of a Mad Snowman. The debut is during International Podcast Day on September 30th. You'll get a free live 30-minute preview of this particular podcast and diary. For the rest of the episodes, you'll have to sign up on Patreon. I'll give you more details about that toward the end of the show. And I'm relaunching the Snowman in the Morning podcast Monday, September the 18th, a recap of The Daily Show, and we're going to squish it all into 45 minutes or less. You'll have to find out what we do with the relaunch of the Snowman in the Morning podcast. Ben started this next after the break.
I fired the first shot because I was tired of him sending these memes about the Cowboys. So I fired the first few shots. And I need to be able to win this weekend to fire some more shots. And yeah, I am petty. I am upset. We are 0-10 the last 10 games. Something has to change. Something has to change. So, Giants, please listen to me. I'm begging you. Win. I need to end this. I need to be able to respond to Cowboy fans and not with my head bowed down. So let's go, Giants. I'm starting a new thing. Dallas.
Oh, Lord.
Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids from the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pistol 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. Papi J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wize El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Papi J and Wize El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back indeed. Hour 2 starts right now.
I'm supposed to know all.
And I hope to do this man justice with a proper introduction. The sharp dressed man who's the owner, the manipulator, and the operator of the BS3 network, one of the television networks that houses this humble show, Ben Sutterth, the third, joins me now. Good morning, Ben. Great to have you.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Good. Ready for this weekend?
I'm ready for this weekend also. I'm ready for some more football. Okay. So your Cowboys destroyed the Giants 40-0. A blocked field goal, and that was the end of that. From your eyes, this is only after week 1, but from your eyes, how do the Cowboys look?
I think they look good. I mean, the defense obviously dominated that game. We didn't get any passing touchdowns by Dak. It wasn't necessarily needed, but they look good overall. I think the tight ends may potentially be an issue. It didn't seem like any one of them stood out, but I do think obviously it's an early season. But to demolish the Giants in their home stadium, to me, was a great start to the NFL season.
Yeah, great start indeed by the Cowboys. There are a couple of things about the Cowboys that talked about it all year. They didn't have to rely on Prescott in this game, but 1 points, and 2, I go back to a question we've asked all summer, and I know the heavy dose is going to be Tony Pollard, but who is going to really consistently run the football for the Cowboys? Those are the only 2 notes I have.
illustrates this a flash in the pan. It was literally a flash. It was literally a flash. You've seen him
Yeah, it
for a
was.
couple seconds,
Yes.
and then it was, oh, he's out for the year. I mean, like, if I was a Jets fan, or if I was the GM or owner of the Jets, I would be pissed because there was a lot riding on me.
And you got 2 years invested now in Aaron Rodgers. And Ryan and I talked about this. We talked about it on Monday with Ryan McCoffey, and he's going to join us again next Monday. And Cole said it best, and I love him for saying it this way: all that hype for one series. One.
Yeah. And it kind of makes me think, because they said he was battling a calf injury, I thought.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes me think, was this one of those KD type situations where he already had somewhat of an injury, and they just, rolled him out there, thought everything was fine, and it ended up obviously not being fine.
Yeah, and you were thinking the exact same thing I was. This is Kevin Durant from the 2019 NBA Finals, because he had a calf injury even before the World Championship Series. They lost him in the Western semifinals against Houston, and then he was unavailable for the rest of the playoff. Is this Aaron Rodgers said that I will indeed rise again? I have to question that. Is this it for Aaron Rodgers?
I was thinking that. I mean, you're at the age that you're at right now. Rehab is going to be hell for you. You're older now. It's not like you can just bounce back.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a really good question. I think it's the way the rehab is going to go, and the way he's feeling. About by the beginning of next year, is kind of how I'm looking at it. But there could be a chance that he's like, "Look, I've done everything I could, and it's time for me to go." So that'll be the story of the summer, though. It'll be the story of the summer. Yeah, again.
Again. It'll be the story. It was the story of the summer the past 3 years when he held Green Bay hostage. Now it'll be the story of the summer again. Do you believe this?
Exactly.
All right, time now for our BetUS.com game preview to the Jets and the Cowboys from AT&T Stadium. It's a 4:25 kickoff on CBS. After the dominance against the Giants, you now have the Jets, who were 1-0, coming into AT&T Stadium. Zach Wilson will start at quarterback for the Jets, but you're looking at a Jets team, if you really want to dive deep into this, that has no fear, because they should have gotten blown to smithereens by the Buffalo Bills, but the Bills shot themselves in the foot 4 times with turnovers. The Jets went on a punt return, and now it seems like to me they're sticking their chest out a little bit, knowing they're about to head into the Lions' den in Dallas.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're playing, that term with house money. They got nothing to lose. I mean, they've lost the superstar quarterback that they had a lot riding on. So at this point, they're just playing just like they did last year. I think they do have, we've talked about it, a great coach. I think he has prepared that defense. But I do think Dan Quinn's going to be ready too. And as we've seen week 1, Dan Quinn is going to throw everything at Zach Wilson that you can possibly throw at him.
Oh yeah.
And I think they're gonna come into Dallas maybe thinking one way, but they're gonna leave thinking another way, because I definitely have Dallas winning. And I think this offense, which plays better at home, I think Dak's gonna have multiple touchdowns, and I think they're gonna take care of the Jets in Dallas.
Yeah, it's a 4:25 kickoff in Dallas. I think the same way, but there's a part of me that gets the feeling that Jets may being the capitalized operative word, have a surprise for Dallas. Will it result in a win? We don't know, but it's like you said, Ben. They are definitely playing with house money right now, and lots of it after Monday night.
Yeah, there's no the pressure. I think the pressure has been taken off, because if Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback, the pressure would have been, all right, you guys have everything you need. You should make a playoff run. I mean, that's what the storylines were saying. That's what everything has been mentioned. So I think now they're like, all right, we got Zach Wilson. We almost have the same roster we had last year. We made some adjustments. And I think the team may even possibly be better than what they were without, with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the scary thing. There's such a variable now with the Jets at the quarterback position. This is a possibility, a strong possibility, and you have to think about this for a redemption tour for Zach Wilson after everything that happened in the offseason, them signing Aaron Rodgers to a 2-year deal, basically giving Zach Wilson the boot to the sidelines, and now this kind of reminds me what the 49ers went through last year with their quarterback carousel.
Yeah, it's very similar. Them losing Jimmy G, then losing Trey Lance, and now on Purdy. So, I mean, this definitely has a storyline. I mean, they've got Dalvin Cook, they got Breece Hall, they got some wide receivers, they have a defense. So, I mean, I don't count them out at all, especially with Robert Salah and what he did last year. So, really, this is going to be I think it's going to be a good game for sure.
I think it'll be a good game too. I'm inclined to think this may be a high scoring game because of the Jets rushing offense and the Cowboys passing offense.
Yeah, and the Cowboys have had issues stopping the run, which they had some gash runs by Saquon. He ended up fumbling one of them, but I think that is still an issue. That the report is still out. I mean, can they stop the run, which they had issues with it last year? So to have Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, that is a big question mark. Even though they drafted Mozzie Smith, he hadn't really played that much. They got Hankins, they got OC. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to be able to do when it comes to this running game.
And as far as the Cowboys defense go, Micah Parsons is going to be everywhere. We know that the Jets have to plan for him. But what makes this Cowboy defense so dangerous is that when you plan for one, others come along. So let's do our keys to the game. Keys to the game driven by Ford, the official vehicle of Snowman Multimedia. What is your biggest key to the game for the Cowboys on Sunday?
I would say stopping the run. Like I said, that is the number one thing, because you know that's what they're going to do. You know that's what they're going to try. And so I think that's the number one. Number two is you have to get into a rhythm on offense. So whatever that rhythm is, whatever that mixture is, and I think Dak does have to get going. And I think he is going to need a couple of passing touchdowns. Because, Sauce Gardner on one end, I'm not sure who the other corner is, but this is going to be a little bit of a test. So I'm expecting, and I think there's going to need to be some passing done throughout this game. And then obviously the defense is going to have to do their job. This is not one of these teams where the defense can just lay back and not be dominant. It's going to have to be a Ravens type defense year for the Cowboys to have the results that they want, which I think they can definitely do that.
I absolutely think so also. Ben Sutter joining us here on the program on every Football Friday, talking Cowboys and talking NFL football. Thanks a lot, my friend. Love you very much. Thanks for coming on.
Yep, appreciate you. As always, Snowman in the morning, 9 a.m. Central, Monday through Friday. Papi J and Wize coming up at 8 p.m. Central tonight. And we'll have a replay of Cole Sports at 2 p.m. Central. So make sure to tune in.
Great programming all the way around. And thanks to you and the BS3 Network for taking this humble show on. Appreciate you.
Yep, no problem. Appreciate you.
Don't forget, September 30th, next Saturday, or 2 weeks from Saturday, you'll hear the debut of Diary of a Mad Snowman. This is a very special project that I am working on. And beginning Monday, September 18th, you can catch the daily replay, squished into an hour, of the Snowman in the Morning podcast. Pause for a break, and when we come back, we'll have the picks. presented by BetUS.com.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
The thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up. Bang! Quality over quantity. LeBron has beaten some of the best competition in NBA history. He's the GOAT emoji. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not swear. I will not swear.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
Your afternoons just got better with the Brian Snow Show. Weekdays, 4 p.m. Eastern. Come on aboard and enjoy the ride, folks.
Thursday nights are wrestling night on CSTV. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to see all the amazing Next Level Pro Wrestling stars on Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTVNow.com and the CSTV app on your Roku device.
PK Tire Pros, your one-stop on-the-spot auto service headquarters for a complete line of quality tires and auto services. For years, we have provided the Stockton, California area with the latest products and unprecedented services for everything we sell. And for years, our customers have been coming back. Take a look around. If you don't find what you need, visit us in Stockton, California. From the latest and best in tire technology to the services required to keep your vehicle looking good and running great, PK Tire Pros can get you out on the road quickly and at an affordable price. Stop by soon to see why so many people consider PK Tire Pros to be the one-stop shop for all of their tire needs. At PK Tire Pros, our friendly and knowledgeable staff, quick and dependable service professionals, and affordable prices all come together to make driving out on a new set of tires easy. On top of that, we never tire of tires. Stop by and see us, and you'll be glad you did.
Because we take this job so serious.
The f*** is that? Sorry, pardon me. My apologies.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Okay, I keep forgetting to push buttons this morning. Doggone it. All right. Take 2 on that. We got about 8 minutes left. And it's now time for our picks for week 2. I didn't get this ready, and I'm sorry about that. So we're gonna go through this as quickly as possible before Chris Bass comes on. And I want y'all to make your picks with us. I'll tell you the game, lay down the spread. I'll tell you if I'm going to take the points or give the points, and I'll tell you the over and under and which way I'm leaning for each game. All of our odds and numbers are brought to you by BetUS.com, an official affiliate sponsor of Snowman in the Morning and Snowman Multimedia. Start with the 1 o'clock games. San Diego and Tennessee. The Chargers are laying 3 points at Tennessee. I say take the Chargers and lay the points over and under 45.5. I say under on this one. Green Bay and Atlanta for Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Atlanta laying 1.5 at home. Go ahead and take that. And over under is 40.5. Go under in this game. Colts and Texans from Houston. Houston laying 1 at home. I'm going the other way. I'm taking the Colts and I'm taking the points. I got the feeling that Anthony Richardson's going to figure this one out. There will not be a tie in Houston for a second consecutive year. I'm going with the Colts, and I'm going with the under, which is set at 39.5. Seahawks and Lions from Detroit. The Lions are laying 5 at home. Lay them all down. I don't think the Seahawks have anything coming for the Detroit Lions, and the Lions are one of the teams to watch in the NFC. Go with the Lions, lay the points, over and under 47.5. I'm going to go over on this one. Bears and Buccaneers from Tampa. Bears are getting 2.5 on the road with an over under of 41. I can't see any reason to pick the Buccaneers. It's the lesser of two evils, so I'm going with the Bears. I'm taking the points, and I say it's under 41. Raiders and Bills from Buffalo. Bills laying 8 at home against the Raiders. Lay them all down, and the over-under is 47. I say go under on this one. Alert, 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 upset alert game. The Chiefs and the Jaguars from Jacksonville. Chiefs are laying 3.5 on the road in Duval. You know something? I don't think people are going to like this, but I am going to go with the Jaguars, and I'm going to take those 3.5 points. There's just something goofy about Alltel Stadium where crazy things happen. Over and under is 51. Go over on this one. To finish the 1 o'clock games, Ravens and Bengals from Cincinnati. Bengals laying 3 at home. Lay them all down. And over under is 46. Under on this one. To the late games, 4:05, Giants in Arizona. Giants laying 4 on the road. You may as well lay all those down. It's the Arizona Cardinals. And over and under is 39.5. Go under in this case. Just because both offenses are inept, the Giants are going to be less inept. I'm taking the Giants. 49ers and Rams. 49ers getting a touchdown plus, or laying a touchdown plus, 7.5 on the road. You may as well lay all of those down. 44.5 is the number. Over and under. Go over on this one. Brock Purdy and the 49ers are going to be 2-0 after this game. Jets and Cowboys. Cowboys laying 9 at home. For some stupid reason, I don't know why. Y'all know the joke I've made all week that I wish for a tie on this game. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a stupid call. I'm doing this on heart and not head. I'm going to call for the upset and go with the Jets, and I'm going to take those 9.5 points. The Redskins and the Broncos from Mile High Stadium in Denver. Denver laying 3.5 at home. I'm going to take the Redskins, and I'm taking the points. I didn't do the over-under. Over-under 38.5. Go over on Jets and Cowboys. 39.5 in Denver. Go under on that game. Dolphins and Patriots, Sunday Night Football. Yours truly, Brian Snow, will have the call for that game, sitting in for JJ. I'm going to go with the Dolphins because anytime Tua is on target, anytime Tua can run the way that he ran that offense in the comeback win against the San Diego Chargers, take the Dolphins, lay the points, 46.5 is the magic number. Over. Now, 2 on Monday. Saints and Panthers. Saints laying 3 on the road in Carolina. Go with the Saints. Lay the points. 39.5 is the magic number. Under. Last but not least, the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers. The Browns are laying 2.5 on the road. Why are the Browns laying 2.5 on the road? I don't think the Steelers are going to play 2 consecutive bad games, especially with the team that they basically take a vacation against every year, except for 2019 when they wound up in a tie. This game is in Pittsburgh. I'm going with the Steelers. I'm going to take the points. 2.5 is the magic number, and the over-under magic number is 38.5. That's an iffy number for me. Very, very iffy. But you know what? I'm going to go over in this game. As I said, I do not expect the Steelers to have 2 consecutive bad games. When they face an inferior team like the Cleveland Browns, and yes, I'm saying the Cleveland Browns are inferior in this case, I don't think they'll go to Pittsburgh and beat them in the regular season. The COVID-shortened playoff is one thing. The regular season is another. I'm taking Pittsburgh and the points, and I'm also going to take the over in this game. Those are our picks, and they're brought to you by BetUS.com. Sports bettors, listen up. BetUS.com is back in our 30th year of action. Call 1-800-379-993-887. That's 1-800-BET-US. BetUS.com, where the game begins. And that's what I get for trying to read that without a read. Now, time to put this baby on ice, and time to end this show, end this week, the same way that we do each and every week with this man.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
Mr. Bass, kind sir, good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning to you, Rain Man. Of course, good morning to the other people in the playground that usually here, to the, of course, the mad scientists, to Wize All, and to all the boys and girls in the comment section. Good morning, happy boom shakalaka to you.
All right, you got a stogie. I know there's a story behind it, and I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's very simple. No, this is my birthday month. I celebrated my birthday on the 4th, and I'm still in celebratory mood. So that's why I got the stogie out. So
good.
I feel good. I feel great. So I figure I can't smoke like I used to, but this might be gone by the weekend. So I'm looking forward to having a nice stogie in honor of my birthday month. So looking forward to that.
Well, happy birthday to you, my friend. I hope you had a fabulous birthday. And as you always told me, any day above ground, especially with us being in our 50s, is a great, great day. I wasn't even supposed to make it to 50. Here I am at 51. And like you, I'm celebrating every day, my man. I'm celebrating every day.
Oh, yes, you have to. I mean, I think that's just the way to go. And especially when you have health issues, and sometimes it can be very, very dark in your world. But when that light comes back, it comes back to stay. And it's up to us individually and with the people around us who love us and we love them back to keep the light going. So, yeah, Doc, it's always good. So before I begin, I noticed, and I know I'm a fan of your work, and I watch you, and even when you're like doing your picks, you say the word against. Now, everybody has their word way of saying things. Every time you say against, it reminds me of the scene from Malcolm X when he's in the nightclub just before he converted to Islam, and he has the red suit on, and the guy says to him, what are you gonna do? Go tell your mama? So he takes the bottle, hits a guy upside the head, and Malcolm said, "Don't you ever like say anything against my mother." So I hearken back to that every time you say the word against. So, good for you, Doc. So, yeah, against my mother. things like that. So good stuff, Doc.
And Jody
yes, sorry, go
noticed
ahead.
that too. Jody noticed that too. She says, "You're saying against the way it's correctly read." And I said, "You know how?" I said, "You know how that happened? I was watching a broadcast from the Canadian Football League, and that's how they say it up north. And also, Bill Cosby says it the same way, and it just
I didn't know
stuck
that.
in my it just stuck in my head, and I've been saying it that way for a while now.
Make it do what it do, Doc. It's definitely you. So keep going against the grain. So you're doing all right, pretty there. You're doing all right, sir.
Yes, sir.
NBA load management has been on my mind since this happened.
I love it. I love it.
So let's look at the definition now. So we want to worry about people in cheap seats. So what I have here is a copy from SportsIllustrated.com. The NBA's a competition committee recommended a plan that would ultimately give the league office authority for greater oversight over discipline for missed games and an ability to fine teams over $100 million for each instance of violating rest ruling. So, okay. Like anybody else, I'm for the common person.
Yes.
When you're making a certain dollar amount per year, you can add up the figures you want to.
Yep.
And you want to save money because, say, not only you, but your family and your children want to see a particular star, a particular team in the NBA. And that takes a while to save up. So it's not like you have money to burn. It may take you a year. It may take you 2 years. Because you're gonna pay out the orifices when you go to the NBA game. You have to pay for obviously the tickets. You have to pay for merch. You have to pay for food and beverage and everything else. That adds up, obviously. I mean, they're not even Captain Obvious. This is Admiral Obvious. He got promoted. So when all this is going on, you would think that the players, not saying that they don't, but just go by with me of this. You would believe that the players have more of an understanding. Now, if your injury is legitimate, okay, that says it all. But if you're sitting for the fact that, okay, I'm going to sit my ass down, I don't feel like playing today, yes, it's your right. But at the same time, don't forget who brought you to the dance.
Exactly.
Don't forget who are buying your merch and going online and jacking your numbers up, no matter what your social media handle is. They're there for a reason. So we're not talking about the people who are in the skyboxes or the people there at the courtside, but the people who are the everyday working man, woman. So, not to offend anybody else. I'm sorry, say that again, sir.
The folks who sit in the 300 level, of the games. We're not talking about the courtside seats or the main mezzanine. Using the United Center picture in my head, we're talking about 200 level and up that shell out a ridiculous amount of money. And I've spoken to quite a few fans who have caught Bulls games in the UC, and they tell me, just starting with parking, and anyone who's been to the United Center knows how ridiculous parking used to be until they finally straightened that out. It only took them to the end of the Jordan era to fix that. And I saw a couple of finals games and a couple of regular season games during the Jordan era at the United Center, and even at the old stadium, the parking was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous, man. So that starts it. You mentioned the merch, you mentioned the food, and those prices have skyrocketed since the mid 90s and up. And now you have club level seating, mezzanine seating. You now have luxury skyboxes. It's crazy how the prices have gone up just to take in a basketball game. And these star players don't realize who got them to the dance.
I think they do realize to a degree, but I think it gets lost in translation when you've risen to the top and you're at the mountaintop, and sometimes you forget about how you got to the mountaintop in the first place. So it's always a sticky wicket when these things happen. But I think at the same time that in comparison to games before or players before who did play a straight 82 games in the season, unless they were out of pocket for injury or personal reasons, obviously, it just gets to a point where things change, obviously, and natural evolution of life. But I think now when you're looking at how global the game has become, how global the merchandise have become, how global the ticket sales have skyrocketed, we just talked about before, it gets to a point where almost the middle person or the lay person is almost compelled to just watching at home and not going to seeing them in person because of the money factor.
And not only that, it's made the prices for streaming services go up also. Cable prices going up, streaming services have gone up as well. Who would have predicted the boom of the NBA app or NBA.com, which made its premiere during the Bulls' run to the Bulls' second three-peat is when NBA.com made its debut. And who expected NBA.com to take off the way that it did, that 4 years later the app comes out? And now you're at a point where you can, just watch the game on your app. You can get a free trial. And if you like the trial, you can go ahead and pay for the streaming service there. But if you tune into a game and you don't see the players that you want to see, you can easily turn from that game. Whereas if you're sitting in the arena and you come to see the players that you came to see and they're not there because of load management, then you've wasted a lot of money going to the arena.
It's a lot to take in, and not only that, as you know, we're living in a high deficit in our commodities and what we do. Everything is jacked up. Prices just gone through not only the roof, it's gone through heaven and hell, all parts in between, up, down, sideways, sideways, everything else. So it's definitely hard to even just survive on a daily basis, let alone put money aside to go to watch an NBA game. So like the good old days where the NBA, I mean, look, I remember when I played for my church, and so my coach wanted us to see an actual NBA game. Man, we went to the then the Chicago Stadium. We walked in, and there was the Bulls playing the Supersonics. We were up in the nosebleed seats. By halftime, we were at courtside with the Bulls. I kid you not, damn near like touching. So those days are gone, and you can't bring a ham sandwich with you. Nobody will check your person. You get a ham sandwich and bring it with you, and get a beer or whatever you're going to drink with the ham sandwich, and you're good. Those days are long gone. So when you look at how adaptability comes into play, and again, look, why should I pay all this money, dish out all this money, when I can stay at home and watch it on television and go from there? Or not only that, hell, man, look, even when you come out going to the movies nowadays, people say the movie experience, but if you can stay home, pause, scratch, go to the bathroom, do what you got to do, wash your hands, come out of said bathroom, fix another ham sandwich, and sit down and unpause it, who does not want that type of luxury? So
exactly,
you're up against the daily amenities of life compared to the experience of being there in person. So it's I was up to the person in general, but that's it's just something to think about when you really sit down. And I think we take life for granted, but that's a lot to dish out money wise.
Yeah, but and here's another thing, and then Trisha brought this up also, and JJ brought this up in the comment section. What if the people that watch at the bar? Because Lord knows I've taken in a bunch of Bulls games, no matter which stadium they're playing in. At the bar, you get a nice meal. It's cost effective. Bunch of folks are there watching the game anyway. And, these are the overrun of people who couldn't get into the stadium or the United Center anyway. So they figure, go to our favorite bar downtown, and that's that. And that's the end of that. Lord knows I've taken in a lot of Bulls games, a lot of Bears games, a lot of White Sox games, and a couple of my favorite haunts in downtown Chicago. And plus, with the public transit system, well, the way that it was back then, you had a better chance of getting the hell out of there and getting home in one piece than you have coming out of the United Center.
And that's about close you're going to get to a real experience actually being there. I totally agree. If you're at a bar or a nice experience where you have that and you're among brother and sister and you're watching the games and everything else, that's as good as it's going to get. I go along with that. But if me personally, don't touch me. If I'm with my people and we're high fiving and stuff, don't hit me because I don't know where your hand has been and how strong you are. So if I'm watching the game, we're all watching the game together. Boom. Don't do that, doctor. Don't touch me. Some people get like over enthusiastic, like, don't leave me, man. I don't have time for that, man. You know, so yeah, keep your hands to yourself because I won't put hands on nobody. I'm trying to enjoy myself, have a good beer and a burger, whatever I'm eating with my people. But God damn it, don't get too excited, Doc. That's the only caveat I have with these bars and places.
That's the only caveat I have too. You know, and like I said, I've seen many a game at there was a bar that I used to go to a lot called Mother Hubbard's in downtown Chicago.
I'm quite familiar with Mother Hubbard's, yes.
One of my favorite haunts to watch a game. If I ever just wanted to get out of the house, especially when I was staying with my parents, if I wanted to just get out of the house and go enjoy a full day of football, I go down to Mother Hubbard's. And it's one of those times where you have the best time. And laying your caveat down, as long as you don't get too excited and you hit me or you touch me in any way, we're all going to have a good time. But you've been at sports bars, as have I. People get so doggone rowdy on an exciting play. Michael Jordan, hello. And what did Mike Fratello always say? When Michael Jordan's tongue is out, something bad's going to happen to the competition. Right. That when that happens and people go absolutely nuts, you want to duck and cover. I'm like, I don't want you hitting me. Yikes!
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wasn't that a good play? Yeah, but leave me the hell alone. Don't touch me. I mean, that type of thing. I mean, they grab your arm and grab your head, all type of stuff. I'm like, dude, don't do that. So no, the fanatics, please stay where you are. I love you, but stay where you see it at. So other than that, that's about it.
Yeah.
Another thing that I noticed watching TV is when, for example, when you watch, or because once again, I watch for the other people, not because the host himself on Fox Sports is undisputed. So, of course, there's Skip Bayless and the crew. And once again, I like the crew. You know, everybody that's on there is solid. I deeply appreciate, especially, I had to give kudos to Michael Irvin. All the crap he went through with that so-called lawsuit from that lady, and the NFL Network had dropped into the Super Bowl, and now you got redemption going to sue Marriott, the hotel, with this alleged thing. That wasn't even alleged. It turned out to be a lie. And so just the fact he's back on the air, congrats to the brother. So him and Keyshawn Johnson, everybody else, it's cool. Now, here's the layout of what Skip Bayless tries to do or does very effectively on his show. Right. Before I do that, here's the thing about when you watch these programs. Obviously, it's designed for you or the person on the panel or the listener or watcher out there or both to react. It's a reactionary thing. So Skip comes off as the guy who's trying to be cool and it doesn't work. Everybody around him is cool people.
Yeah.
But he's that guy who tries to get street cred and just doesn't come off well. So he's that guy. So for example, this is Skip. Well, I'll tell you something. I know it's gonna be controversial. I know nobody likes it, but I believe that Bud Buttman, who played in the NFL in 1927, is the best quarterback of all time. He's better than Brady. He's better than Joe Namath. He's better than everybody. And of course, first of all, who the hell is Bud Buttman?
Exactly.
Right. And he'll say, I never seen Bud Buttman play. I don't know who the hell Bud Buttman is. There's exactly. You know, I don't know, but all I know is that Bud Buttman is the greatest quarterback in the history of NFL. So of course people, hey, what's wrong with you, man? How you gonna sit up there and talk about him being the greatest? And here's and then he did. That's his act.
Yes.
That's it. That's all. Why? To get you to respond to the fact that Bud Buttman is the greatest quarterback of all time, knowing Bud Buttman is not the greatest quarterback of all time. But so you
don't know. A, you don't know who the hell he is,
right?
And B, you never seen him play. He's mentioned 1927. That's long before some of us actually not only had a microphone in front of us, but were alive. Okay, so we can't watch any footage of this guy, and you're just thinking, who the hell is this guy? And why is he
reactionary? It's all reactionary. Bud Buttman, how dare you? That's the act.
That's it.
That's all he does.
That's all he does.
That's a go watch for yourself. Take my word for it. when he starts to nod his funky head, that when he's in that mode, he got you.
And as soon as he gets in that mode, it's over. It's over. And this is why these debate shows, Undisputed, First Take, and others like it, are being flushed down the toilet, because it's not truly a debate. It's one person making a point that can't be proven, and a bunch of yes men and women, in some cases, Molly Kiram, hello, following along. And you're going, wait a minute, where's the other side of this coin? Where's the other side of this?
Well, I think, as you know firsthand, Rayman, what happened over the years is that I believe anything else, you've taken the audience for granted. So what do you do instead of giving them intelligent work? You give them subpar to idiotic work. And so I understand about legalities. I've never been to a First Take or Undisputed behind the scenes meeting, but from my experience in broadcasting, it may go something like this. Okay, here's the topic. Here we go, talk about whoever. You take the pro, I take the con, and then we'll just hammer it up and we get on screen. And it's not genuine, but it's how it's done. So when you look at how the breakdown is, are we getting a genuine concept of debate, or are we getting their version of debate? And I usually go with the latter.
Yeah, I go with the latter also. It's their version of debate. It's not a true debate. It's not like how we had it in high school, where someone brings up a point and there's 6 different counterpoints to it and everything is valid. It's not. It's not even a discussion. It's a one-sided monologue where the other person, like you said, is going and agreeing right along, knowing the other person has a counterpoint to it, but isn't allowed to bring it up.
Unfortunately, this is what we have, but we don't have to buy into it, and once I'm incredibly biased because I've known you for years, programs like this and others that you're a part of with the crew that you have assembled over the years have become what I call a good sports super team. You get the bare facts. You get what you get. And so it's a shame that you're munched in with the rest of the crap that's out here, but when you look at it and dissect from show to show, you can see the difference. You can see the hard work goes into it before the mic hits, before you're on screen. And when you look at the people involved, you know that there's a camaraderie that's genuine. And once again, you can't get along with everybody, but it's nice if you did. And then when you get along with everybody, I think it just makes for a better program. And there's a respect factor that's there along with everybody involved.
When I cut my teeth at Chicago State, it was this kind of show where I was able to put it together and, of course, developed a team there. And then it just led to the team that I have now in putting this show in place. And top of next month, I'll celebrate the 10th season of Snowman in the Morning. And
congratulations.
That entire week, first week of October, is going to be a week-long celebration of our 10th season. Man, you see the cookie cutter methods, and you brought this up before. You brought this up, I think, one time last year. You see the cookie cutter methods of sports shows, sports debate shows. They all follow the same pattern. This one, Cole Sports, many others, the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems, Mentality, other shows like that are not afraid to break the mold. They're not afraid to break the mold. And it's these kind of shows that people have to follow. When you get the straight up facts, you get the straight up truth, and then you get the opinion behind it. But it's based on a true opinion. It's not based on what someone force fed into your head said before you went on air.
You have to not afraid to be different. And this goes across the board, anything. You know, I cut my teeth in talk radio for years now. And when I first got into talk radio, and it still is, the audience is for white conservative males. And so there were people who I knew were not conservative who became conservative because that was the going thing. And especially in the highlight of the era of talk radio from the standpoint of it being on AM radio was concerned, because AM radio was a dissolute for a long time. We just had sports radio and talk. But in the 90s in particular, you had a revitalization of conservative talk radio. And then when that happens, like everybody got on the bandwagon. So then people change their spots because one, they need to check. And second of all, they need to still be relevant. And so when that happens, you're right. In any type of business, when you see something working across the street, you immediately do the same thing. I mean, he'll go back to Coming to America. They're the Golden Arches. I'm the Golden Arch. They're McDonald's. I'm McDowell's. So whatever works, people are going to copy it regardless because they see it working across the street, and it has to work on this side of the street too. If I copied everything word for word verbatim.
Yeah. And it's sad that it's such a cookie cutter process now. But we leave y'all with this. Don't be afraid to break the mold. That was one of the things that you taught me when you and I got together at PSI Radio, because I was nervous out of my mind.
I couldn't tell.
They said, look, we got this. And then they started making me laugh. And that, of course, cured everything. Oh, man, it is such a pleasure each and every Friday having you on, my man. I love you very much. I hope you had a great birthday. Continue to celebrate every single day, my friend. I love you.
Well, I love you more, and a damn thing to do about it. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you, Bass.
You got it.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
I'll repeat what Bass said. I love y'all, and a damn thing you can do about it. I will see y'all Monday. Have a great weekend. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move, and always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they are simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. Sunday Night Football with yours truly, the Dolphins and the Patriots from Gillette Stadium, as I sit in for JJ with the call. So long, everybody.